warning for every man watching this. The greatest danger to your relationship isn't what you think. It's not money problems. It's not stress. It's not even another man's looks or charm. The real threat is something far more devastating, something that could already be happening behind your back right now. Here's the harsh truth. Millions of men believe their relationships are solid, only to wake up one day and realize their partner has already checked out. Not physically at first, emotionally. She's still sleeping next to you, still posting happy photos, still saying, "I love you." But deep down, her heart is no longer yours. And when that emotional switch flips, your relationship is already over, even if you don't know it yet. Now let's make this sting even more. When a man cheats, society destroys him. He's called a pig, a monster, unforgivable. But when a woman cheats, suddenly there are excuses. She wasn't happy. He neglected her. She was driven to it. Everyone nods along as if her betrayal is somehow noble. That double standard is no accident. It exists because deep down, people instinctively know the truth. Female infidelity is not the same as male infidelity. And once you understand why, you will never look at relationships the same way again. Most men grow up believing that loyalty looks the same for both sexes. We're taught that cheating is cheating, that betrayal is universal, that the rules of love are equal. But that's a lie that leaves millions of men blindsided. The truth is brutal. Male infidelity and female infidelity are not even in the same category. They share the same word, but they create entirely different consequences. One can bruise a relationship, the other can bury it. And until you understand this, you'll never see the danger coming. Think about the way society reacts. A man cheats, and he is crucified. The labels come fast: pig, monster, worthless. His reputation is destroyed. But when a woman cheats, the conversation changes. Suddenly, there are reasons, excuses, even sympathy. She wasn't happy. He must have neglected her. She was one unfulfilled. Instead of being condemned, her betrayal gets painted as a reaction. It's almost treated as justified. This double standard exists for a reason. Deep down, people instinctively recognize that female infidelity is far more devastating than male infidelity. And that's exactly why it's wrapped in excuses. The truth is too uncomfortable to admit out loud. Here's the hard science behind it. When men cheat, it's usually just physical. That's not a moral defense, it's biology. A man can sleep with someone and feel nothing. He can walk away without a single ounce of emotional connection. He can go home, kiss his wife, tuck his kids into bed, and still believe in his marriage. Wrong? Yes. Repairable? Often. Because his emotional bond remains tied to his partner. His resources, his plans, his loyalty, all of that is still anchored at home. But when a woman cheats, everything changes. It is never just physical. Even if she swears it was only sex, even if she insists no feelings were involved, her biology tells a different story. The moment she's intimate with another man, her brain unleashes oxytocin, the powerful bonding hormone. This isn't a decision. It isn't about morals. It's raw chemistry. Her brain literally forces her to connect with him. Evolution wired her this way. For millions of years, sex meant pregnancy, and pregnancy meant survival only if she secured a strong provider and protector. So her system evolved to bond fiercely with sexual partners. One encounter, and her subconscious is already making plans. Her body whispers, "This man could be the father of my children. I need to hold on to him." Birth control doesn't erase those ancient instincts. Her mind may tell her it's casual, But her biology doesn't care. The bond forms anyway. And when that happens, everything about her original partner begins to fade. This is why some women become addicted to affairs. Each new partner gives them a rush of bonding hormones, like a hit of a drug. But the high wears off, so they chase the next thrill, the next man, the next spark. Over time, their ability to attach permanently begins to erode. Meanwhile, her feelings for her partner at home don't dissolve gently. They collapse. One day she's affectionate. The next she's irritated by everything he does. The way he eats, the way he breathes, even his presence becomes suffocating. She doesn't choose this shift. It's her brain reprogramming itself, detaching from the old and fastening onto the new. Scientists call it mate switching. In plain English, her system is designed to replace you. And her body doesn't just change emotionally, it changes physically too. Hormones shift, cycles adjust. Even her preferences in men can alter depending on the new bond. It's as if her entire system reorganizes itself around the other man, while slowly rejecting you. I watched this play out with my own eyes. My business partner was a man who had it all. He built his company from nothing, married his college sweetheart, stayed faithful for 20 years, raised 2 kids, and gave her the kind of life most women would envy. Big house, stability, financial security, the works. Then she joined a book club. It sounded harmless, moms talking about novels over a glass of wine. But there was a new face in the group, a recently divorced English professor. He was broke, depressed, living in a studio apartment. By every measure, a downgrade. Yet 9 months later, she walked out on her husband for him. My partner was destroyed. He kept asking the same question over and over. What does he have that I don't? The answer was nothing and everything. He wasn't richer. He wasn't more successful. He wasn't more stable. But he was new. He sparked her chemistry. Those wine-filled discussions about symbolism and literature created intimacy, the illusion of courtship. By the time it got physical, she had already left in her mind. Her brain had rewritten the story of their marriage, painting 20 years of love as dull and empty, while making this professor look like Shakespeare reborn. She abandoned a mansion, security, and family for a man who couldn't even afford a car. That's the terrifying reality. Once a woman's bond flips, there is no reset button. A man who cheats might feel guilt, shame, even regret. He might cut ties and beg for forgiveness because his core bond is still intact. But when a woman cheats, her heart has already moved on. She might apologize. She might cry. But inside, the bond is broken beyond repair. The man she once adored now disgusts her. She may stay under the same roof for the kids, for financial comfort, or for appearances. But emotionally, she's gone. This is why women file for divorce more often than men. Once their biology rewires, there's no going back. The cruel paradox is this: when men cheat, many couples try to salvage the relationship. When women cheat, no one wants to save it, not even her. Because in her mind, the marriage is already over. By the time her partner discovers the truth, he's not uncovering the start of a problem. He's discovering the ashes of something long dead. And that's the danger most men never see. Male cheating is like a reckless scratch on the surface. Female cheating is like setting the whole house on fire. One can be repaired, the other leaves nothing standing. And if you don't understand this difference, you're walking blind into a disaster that can take everything from you. When the truth finally comes out, the aftermath looks very different for men and women. A man who cheats and gets caught often feels crushed by guilt. Not just embarrassment, not just regret for being discovered, but real remorse for hurting the person he loves. He may beg for forgiveness, cut off the other woman, and try to rebuild what he damaged. Why? Because for him, the affair was separate from his real bond. His love, his loyalty, his investment in his family were still intact. The betrayal was reckless, yes, but it didn't destroy his foundation. That's why so many men, even after cheating, still want to fight for their relationships. But when a woman cheats, the story is completely different. She may cry. She may say she's sorry. She may promise it meant nothing. But inside, she is already gone. Her heart has shifted. Her bond with her husband has snapped. That deep connection she once felt has been replaced by the new man. She looks at her husband now and feels disgust instead of affection. She may stay in the house, but not out of love. She stays for the children, for the stability, for appearances. Emotionally, she checked out the very moment she gave herself to someone else, and no amount of apologies or promises can undo it. This explains why women initiate most divorces. It isn't random. It's not about small fights piling up. It's biology at work. Once the emotional switch flips, it doesn't flip back. There is no reset. The bond is gone forever. That's why the statistics are so brutal. When men cheat, around 1/3 of marriages collapse. But when women cheat, that number jumps to 70%. The difference is massive because the meaning of infidelity is different. Male betrayal is often a stupid decision. Female betrayal is often a permanent replacement. And this creates a cruel paradox. When men cheat, many couples actually try to fix the damage. The man often wants to save the marriage, and in many cases, the woman wants to save it too. There is pain, but there is still a bond to fight for. But when a woman cheats, no one wants to fix it, not even her. By the time her husband realizes what happened, the relationship is a corpse. It may still be moving, but only because it hasn't been buried yet. She may go through the motions of reconciliation. She may act as if she wants to try. But in her heart, she's only buying time until she can fully leave. And here's what men don't understand. You think that if you cheat and she cheats, it balances out. You imagine you're even, but you're not. Not even close. A man's cheating is like a scratch on the car. A woman's cheating is like driving that car off a cliff. A man's cheating is a wound that can heal. A woman's cheating is an amputation. Once it's done, it cannot be reversed. Once she gives herself to another man, physically and emotionally, she can never fully return to you. Women know this instinctively, even if they never say it out loud. That's why they react so violently to male infidelity. It isn't just about sex. They know men are capable of meaningless encounters. What terrifies them is the idea that you might form a true connection with another woman, that you might start giving her your time, your money, your attention. That's why the first question women ask after catching a man cheating is always, "Do you love her?" They can handle meaningless sex. What they can't handle is love, because love means resources and loyalty being shifted away. Here's the twisted part. Women will sometimes use male infidelity as justification for their own. You cheated first, so I cheated back. But deep down, they know it isn't the same. They know their betrayal is nuclear compared to yours. Still, they hide behind society's ignorance, playing the victim while delivering the final blow. Everyone takes her side. The story becomes about his mistake, not hers. And legally, the system doesn't care who cheated first or why. A man can cheat and lose half of everything he built. A woman can cheat and still walk away with the same share, maybe even more. The behavior looks the same on paper, but the consequences are devastatingly unequal. And this is where the danger goes even deeper. Because women often don't fall into affairs the way men do. Men act impulsively. They see an opportunity, take it, and often regret it instantly. Women plan. They prepare. They start checking out emotionally long before anything physical happens. They pick fights, exaggerate flaws, and build a story in their minds where the man is already the villain. By the time they cross the line, they've convinced themselves they were justified. Think about the warning signs most men ignore. She buys new lingerie you never see. She suddenly takes an interest in the gym, in new clothes, in looking better when she leaves the house than when she comes back. She puts a lock on her phone. She invents girls' nights that never existed before. These are not random changes. This is preparation. This is her setting the stage for someone else. By the time anything physical happens, she's already left you emotionally. The paperwork is just waiting to be signed. That's why so many men are blindsided. They think everything is fine. She smiles. She laughs. She plays her role. Meanwhile, she's already moved her heart somewhere else. Men cheat recklessly. Women cheat strategically. A man falls into temptation. A woman builds it step by step. And once she does, something extraordinary happens. Her brain rewrites history. She convinces herself the relationship was always terrible. That vacation last year? She says she was miserable the whole time. That romantic dinner last month? She claims she was only pretending. She isn't lying, at least not in her own mind. Her brain is changing her memories to make her betrayal feel inevitable, even noble. And this is why arguing with her after she cheats is pointless. You're not even living in the same reality anymore. She's built a new version of the past that makes her choice seem justified. And in that new version, you were always the problem, and she was always the victim. Here's where things get even darker. Some women don't cheat because they're swept away in passion. They cheat as a way out. Instead of facing the truth like an adult, instead of ending the relationship directly, they create chaos on purpose. They set up their own betrayal as the escape route. They know once they get caught, they can flip the script. They cheat, you explode, and then they point at your reaction as proof that you were controlling, angry, even abusive. Overnight, you become the villain of the story, while she plays the victim. It's not an accident. It's strategy. And it's far more common than most men want to believe. Think about the psychology of that move. She doesn't have to own her choices. She doesn't have to admit she wanted out. She manufactures a crisis where you are forced to pull the trigger. That way, she can tell her friends, her family, and maybe even a courtroom, that she was driven away. It's psychological warfare disguised as heartbreak. And the worst part? The system is set up to reward her side of the story while you're left broken and paying the price. But betrayal doesn't just destroy the relationship you had. It rewires her ability to bond in the future. Once a woman has cheated, something inside her shifts. Each new partner leaves a mark. Each new affair chips away at her ability to attach deeply. That's why women with higher numbers of partners often struggle to stay married. Their bonding system gets worn down, like a rubber band stretched too many times. At some point, it loses its snap. It can't return to its original shape, and that's exactly what happens with pair bonding. This is the ugly secret no one wants to discuss. Female promiscuity doesn't just harm the men involved, it harms women themselves. It damages their own capacity to ever find lasting fulfillment. A man can go through a reckless phase, then settle down and build a family. A woman who does the same often finds herself unable to stay satisfied. Her brain craves novelty, drama, the rush of the affair. The stable man at home can never compete with the high she once felt with someone else. That's where the phenomenon of the alpha widow comes in. Once a woman experiences a peak connection with a man she perceives as superior, even if it was brief, even if it ended in disaster, every future partner will be compared against that memory. She might stay with another man, but deep down she's haunted by the ghost of that one who lit her up. And no one else will measure up. It doesn't matter if he dumped her. It doesn't matter if he treated her terribly. Her brain has imprinted on that experience, and every relationship after feels like a downgrade. Men need to understand this brutal truth. Women rarely let go of one branch before they have a grip on the next. This isn't romantic. It's survival programming. While you think she's committed, she may already be auditioning your replacement. She lines up the next option before she lets you go. She tests him, flirts, builds an emotional connection, makes sure he's willing to catch her. Only when she feels secure does she swing. By the time she leaves, she's not stepping into uncertainty. She's stepping into the arms of someone else she already lined up. Men don't do this. Men cheat and either confess or get caught. Women cheat while constructing an exit plan. It's calculated, sometimes even cold. She hedges her bets so she never has to face being truly alone. That's why women so rarely end up single after a breakup. While you're left in shock, trying to make sense of what happened, she's already on vacation with the next guy, posting pictures online. It looks like she moved on instantly, but the truth is she moved on months ago. The relationship ended for her long before you saw the signs. And it doesn't stop there. Many women maintain an entire orbit of backup options. Co-workers, male friends, old exes, even some of your friends. She keeps them close enough to be available, but far enough to look innocent. She sprinkles just enough attention to keep them around, never too much to raise suspicion. Until the day she needs them. Then suddenly, that friend becomes her confidant. She cries on his shoulder about how unhappy you've made her. And wouldn't you know it, he's always had feelings for her. Social media has turned this orbit into a global marketplace. Every like on her photo is a potential replacement. Every DM is an escape route. She can keep dozens of men hovering at a distance while you sleep peacefully beside her, thinking everything is fine. One argument, one fight, and she has 50 options, ready to swoop in and play hero. The temptation is endless, the validation constant, and the safety net always there. Here's the part that destroys men most. She will gaslight you the entire way through. If you question her behavior, she'll call you insecure. If you notice the late nights, the new outfits, the locked phone, she'll accuse you of being paranoid or controlling. Sometimes, she'll even accuse you of cheating. That's projection. Her guilty conscience forces her to see her own behavior in you. And you, desperate to trust her, start doubting your own instincts. That's the real damage. Not only are you betrayed, you start questioning your sanity. By the time you realize the truth, the psychological wreckage is already done. You weren't crazy. You weren't paranoid. You were right. But she convinced you otherwise. That is the cruelest twist of all. She cheats, and somehow you end up feeling like the villain. So what does all of this mean for men? It means that when she cheats, it's over. You can tell yourself otherwise. You can cling to her tears, her apologies, her promises. But the truth is cold and simple. Her biology already ended the relationship. She might stay under the same roof. She might still wear the ring. But the woman you loved is gone. The bond is broken, and it never comes back. This is the hardest pill for men to swallow, because men believe in redemption. They believe in fixing what's broken. When they cheat, they can still feel love. They can still want to rebuild. So when a woman cheats, they assume it must be the same. But it isn't. Her heart has shifted. Her loyalty has rewired. And no matter how much she cries, she is no longer yours. That's why you can't fall into the trap of false equivalence. Don't think that if you cheated once and she cheats back, you're even. You're not. Your mistake may have wounded the relationship. Her betrayal destroyed it. You scratched the car. She drove it off a cliff. And there's no repairing what's left at the bottom. Men need to start trusting their instincts again. If she suddenly accuses you of cheating out of nowhere, it's projection. If she picks fights over nothing, she's building her excuses. If she changes how she looks, guards her phone, and joins new activities, it's not random. It's a process. And by the time you have hard proof, it's already too late. The bond is gone, and you're just discovering the ashes. You also need to understand the world you live in. Society will not take your side. If she cheats, people will say you drove her to it. If you cheat, they'll burn you alive. The legal system won't help you either. A man who cheats might lose half of everything. A woman who cheats might walk away with the same. You can be betrayed, humiliated, stripped of your family, and still be the one paying alimony and child support. That's the reality. Pretending otherwise only sets you up for destruction. So what's the solution? It isn't to hate women. It isn't to avoid relationships altogether. The solution is to wake up and play by the real rules. The only power you have in a relationship is your ability to walk away. If you cannot walk away, you have no power. If you tolerate betrayal, if you give second chances after the bond is gone, you are lying to yourself. She will never look at you the same way. Her love will never be fully yours again. The only move is to end it decisively and mean it. You also need to choose wisely from the beginning. Patterns don't lie. A woman who has cheated before will cheat again. A woman who cheated with you will eventually cheat on you. A woman who rejects masculine authority will fight against it later. Look for women who accept reality, not women who pretend biology doesn't exist. A relationship can work if it's built on truth. It will collapse if it's built on lies. I know this sounds harsh. It feels unfair. But fairness doesn't exist in nature. Biology doesn't care about your feelings. Evolution doesn't care about equality. These forces shaped men and women differently. A man can compartmentalize sex. A woman cannot. That's the difference. And ignoring it won't protect you. It will only leave you unprepared for the pain that follows. Think about where we came from. In small tribes, men needed certainty of paternity. Women needed certainty of provision. Men spread seed. Women secured providers. That wiring never disappeared. It's still with us, shaping behavior today. The problem is modern society tells us to ignore it. It tells us men and women are the same. It punishes men for acting on their instincts while excusing women when they do. And then everyone wonders why marriages collapse at record rates. The answer is not to despair. The answer is to face reality. Set boundaries. Make it clear that cheating means the end. No discussions, no second chances, and mean it. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself begging for love that no longer exists, clinging to a woman who has already moved on, and destroying your dignity in the process. Remember this above all: male cheating is a mistake. Female cheating is a replacement. Male cheating is about opportunity. Female cheating is about upgrade. Male cheating can be forgiven. Female cheating cannot be undone. These are not opinions. These are facts written in biology. Ignore them at your own peril. The game is what it is. You can either learn the rules and protect yourself, or you can pretend the rules don't exist and get destroyed. The choice is yours. And once you see the truth, you can never go back to the comforting lies you were told. You now know why women walk away from stable marriages, why they trade comfort for chaos, why men are blindsided again and again. And you also know the only way forward: clarity, boundaries, and the power to walk away. That's how you protect yourself in a world where loyalty doesn't mean the same thing for everyone.